Energy!
Energy. It's Mighty Morphing Energy time. Yeah.
It's Power Ranger. It's Rangin' time.
Yeah, I'm sure that was possibly one of their phrases too, to be honest with you.
It's
Power Rangers.
Rangin' time. Energy.
Power Rangers, go! Oh,
There we go.
they're the corniness, but still, I wouldn't have
Yes.
them change. You know,
No.
if there is a super serious like Power Rangers out there, I would be disappointed. I'm sure there probably is, like now for kids.
There
But if
is. The Power Rangers movie that got released a load of years ago.
Yeah, things like that just go under my radar. But was it cheesy or was it like
Bigger.
John Wick type fight scenes or something?
It's Power Rangers from 2017. No, there was no cheese. It was.
Then
They tried to do it a bit serious.
Power Rangers was pure cheese. It needs to stay pure cheese.
Exactly. You can't have Power Rangers without the cheese.
Yeah, you can't have they beat the bad guy and then the bad guy becomes massive. And so now
Exactly.
you have to morph together to become the Power Ranger dinosaur tank,
Yeah.
or what the hell they used to turn into.
Or the Zord, the Megazord.
Oh yes, the Megazord. That's right. I remember.
I haven't seen Power Rangers in ages.
No, same
Why?
here.
This is a blessing and a curse. Remembering names.
And all that. Do you ever just wonder, like, all the things you remember and all the useful things you could try and remember instead? Like, you remember all the swords, the colours.
Because I get sad.
You know, you could be a doctor, Nick, but no, you remember the Megazord.
I remember I'm talking shit about games on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, what's wrong with us?
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Yeah, hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. Are you well?
Yes, I'm full of energy.
Well, yes, you sound it, but you know that I'm old, and so I'm not. So I'm lacking energy. There you go.
Energy!
I love how the answer is. I every time you do that, I picture. Remember, what's it? Shia LaBeouf. I never say his name wrong. Shia LaBeouf, what the hell his name is.
Just
Wait,
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that's it. Doing that.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, the one when he's doing that inspirational speech that everybody made fun of.
Do it!
Remember? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that one. That's it. That's the one. Every time I hear that one, that cracks me up.
It really does. It's so cool. But Shia LaBeouf he's just a goldmine for these memes. He went to an actual red carpet event wearing a brown paper bag over his face.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, again, you remember you rant about childhood stars and how broken they are. And
they are.
It's
a shame, really.
It is.
Even the Olsen twins.
Yeah, no, all of that. There's like one or two that go through the gaps, and the rest, sadly, and I do say sadly, are just broken in my opinion. Like
totally broken. I want to say something about Shia LaBeouf, but before I go, you remember the kid the main kid in the show Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I know the lad.
Can't remember his name, but he was also in Liar Liar or Big Fat Liar.
That's right, he was. That's right. Yeah.
Apparently, his parents saw what child acting was doing to him or his colleagues, or whatever.
Yeah.
So they took him out of it.
Yeah.
That's why you've never seen him in anything else.
But I remember there was an interview with him. I still can't remember his name now either. He had a really good asset manager as well.
That's it. That's what I was going to say.
He made millions on Malcolm in the Middle, and his asset manager, I remember him saying his asset manager just went and started buying parking lots in America.
Yes, in Los Angeles.
Yeah, in really good areas. And he was a kid going,
Yes.
I don't want to own parking lots. He says, I want to own theme parks and stuff.
Exactly.
But as an adult, now, when he sold the parking lots, he made like 400% on his purchase. And
insane.
he's still living off the parking lot money now compared to his like Malcolm in the Middle money. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Frankie Muniz.
That's it.
Is that his name?
It's
Something
also
like that.
Secret Agent Cody Banks.
That's right. Like I said, that's when adults. That's a good story of Hollywood.
Exactly.
Because,
That is one of the. unfortunately very few cases of child stars that turned out quite well.
Exactly right. And like I said, that's because he had guidance and nice people around him.
Exactly, good guidance.
Instead of Hollywood's poisonous atmosphere.
There's one more thing I want to say. Have you seen the video on YouTube, Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf?
No, you said that, and I was slightly shocked. He's eating people now?
He's an actual cannibal, Shia LaBeouf. Okay. After this episode,
I don't know if you're clickbaiting me here. I'm like,
no.
What?
After this episode, before we start with the bonus episode available for patrons on patreon.com/criticalarcade, you need to go watch Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
It is, and anyone else listening to this, if you haven't seen this, you're in for a treat. It's not long. It's I think 4 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of the best videos on YouTube.
But you can't actually be a cannibal, right? Because that would be against the law. And
who? Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
He's an actual cannibal, Shia LaBeouf.
God, I just don't... Because this is all audio, I don't know if you're lying or not. I'm just hearing... Because it's against the law to be an actual cannibal. It's
but not if you're Shia LaBeouf. Then you can be an actual cannibal, Shia LaBeouf.
I forgot. Okay, if that's true, if you are Shia LaBeouf, then yes, I can imagine you're beyond the law.
If anyone is interested, and you should be, go on YouTube and search Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf. Then you'll see a video of Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
I will be doing that very shortly, I'm sure.
I think the guy that posted it was Rob Cantor.
Am I supposed to know that name?
No, I am, because I can't forget a name.
Of course. Same.
But yes, Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Okay, even that's in my head now. I don't think that's ever going to fall. I'm never going to forget it.
Cement it in your mind by watching the video, Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, now I've remembered that, I'll forget how to drive or something. So thank you for that.
That's how it works. When your brain is full, you start substituting information.
Exactly right. I'll start just like putting hazard lights on instead of headlights, and then driving around and shouting at people. It's your fault, so I'm blaming you if that happens.
Well, I mean, I'm in this as well. I'm remembering actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. Ooh, almost.
It's like
and I forgot my mom's birthday.
Oh, that's okay. It's very true. It's like we're selling actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. Like that sounds like a fragrance now.
What? Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. It's like buy it now in your local boutique.
Yes. This is. I know. I'm saying actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf for the bit. But everyone should go watch that video. It's a production. It's spectacular.
Okay. Should we jump into the game? Or,
Let's do it. We've spent the last 8 minutes talking about energy megazords and actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
It's all good stuff. Everybody wants to hear it, I'm sure.
Right. Dave, how about you? Fill us in. What did we play this week?
Well, finally we got to play. Well, I say this while biting my tongue. A Lego Star Wars game, like we did not too long ago. One of our first-ish ones. Oh no, actually it was a bit later than I expected. We did Lord of the Rings Lego.
That's right,
didn't I? And that was really good. And I thought, well, now that they've got a proper IP, a proper story, a proper fantasy that everyone enjoys, I thought this Star Wars game would be the just fantastic. And that's what we're playing today. The 2005, I think I wrote down, Lego Star Wars, the video game. This is the first Star Wars. The
very, very first one. This is the one that started it all.
Yeah, and it is really confusing out there. If you type in like Lego Star Wars, there's like, I don't know, 50 of them. They're redone and re-released, and there's some other little ones, and there's some like DLC type ones, and all sorts of things. So it's very, very confusing. This is the first one that was released for like PlayStation 2 and stuff like that.
It's because this was made by Traveller's Tales, who I sometimes always get confused with Telltale games.
Oh, I get confused with Governor's Tales. You know Governor's Tales?
What? Governor's Tales.
You've never heard of Governor's Tales?
Gulliver's Travels.
Gulliver's, yes, Travels. See, this is how my head works. You remember names. I think these weird things like I'm clever and stuff, and then you point out, actually, David, it's what you said.
Actually, it's called Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Exactly. But anyway, I did think of that, and now that you've pointed out it's nothing like that, now I'm just in a state of pure discombobulation.
It's fine.
But yeah, Traveller's Tales.
It's amazing. You pointed out that this game's been remade, re-released, and redone, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, that's
it's because Traveller's Tales, they know how to make money. They know how to get the bag and take the bag to the bank.
But yeah, it is funny because if you look at their history, Traveller's Tales did lots of the like the Pixar games, Bugs Life, Toy Story.
Really?
The cheesy like kiddies games that always come with the releases of the movies.
Yes, those platformers for the PS2.
Yeah, platformers and stuff like that. So that was their bread and butter. There was Finding Nemo, everything, and then you could see they did a Lego game.
Yes.
And then they went, whoa,
whoa,
this made some money. And then after that, it's just Lego games. Like,
they
dropped to the Pixar licensing, whatever. It was just Lego games from then on.
They had a Mr. Krabs moment.
Yeah, exactly. They
had
money.
A taste of money, and they like money.
Yeah, that's quite funny. But they do them well, so good on them. Like I said,
exactly.
They do know what they're doing in this regard.
Much respect for anyone just getting to the bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't blame them. Like we all do the same thing, right?
But the weird thing is, this is a Lego game, but this is also a Star Wars game. It's a hybrid. Nobody knew they wanted.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I don't even know, because they're just Telltale games. They must have known someone to instantly get like the franchises, like to get Star Wars from doing a Bug's Life, and like. Finding Nemo. So you got friends in relatively high places.
And
then all of a sudden they get the Star Wars license for a Lego game.
Yeah, and this was before Disney acquired them.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
You know what I think? Happened?
Go on.
I think this was their first case study. They saw, Lego Star Wars, mishmash them together, and you get a lot of money. So then Telltale took this case study and they went to all the other production companies and they told them, look, we just Legoified this franchise, and look at all the money we made. You can have your own chunk of this money if we Legoify your franchise.
No, that makes sense. Like you're saying, the higher selling Lego kits must be the Star Wars-esque ones too, right? That's what, because even I look at the Star Wars Millennium Falcon and all the other scenes made out of actual Lego. Yeah, exactly. They must be high selling, high flying type Lego pieces. So. They've got the marketing material and the evidence right there in real life, right?
They do.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, it does make sense.
It really does make sense. Selling these games sells Lego kits, as you said.
That's right.
And then the more Lego kits there are, the next generation gets to play with them, getting more. Lego has got it figured out.
They really do.
Are they Swiss? Are they...
Ooh.
Which... I know they're from one of those northern European countries.
Yeah, I was just thinking that now, because when you said Swiss, I thought you could be right. And strangely enough, being European, I should probably know. But it's definitely... I have to find out now.
I'm Googling the same. It is from Denmark.
Ah, the Danes, of course.
Yeah.
Good for
course!
Them. It screams Danes. Just look at it. But yeah, that's right. That makes sense. No, I love Lego. I know it's weird segue, but sadly I'm far too poor to have all those people on Instagram that show off their rooms full of Lego. I hate them all. Have you seen them? God damn.
I don't want to.
They got like $400,000 worth of Lego just in their spare bedroom, all built up on shelves and well lit and the world we live in. And if they've got enough, Lego then sponsors them the new kits for them to build like on stream.
That's how it works. That's how it works. If you want to be an influencer, you just get things.
Yeah, right. If they put some hard work into it, but once they hit that plateau where they get free stuff for the
once you've made it,
basically it's just this perpetual machine of free stuff, make a video, make money, free stuff, make a video, make. That sounds
please
great.
Share our podcast to all your friends and family.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like the ticket right there.
You're 100% right. Even this past weekend, it's everywhere. I was playing Lego with my boy, and you joined in, Dave. We were just having some fun with Lego, which, I don't know, it's timeless.
it's one of those bits. Nick's son's 3.5 or so, right? And it was hard for us not to just take over because it's Lego. Like we were helping him put it in place and work it out, and I was like, I gotta hold back, David. Come on, hold back. Be patient, because I want this build. I want to put the 2-piece on the 3-piece, and I want to work out how to put this hinge there.
Yes,
it all flooded back to me. Just looking at that small bit of Lego, we got your son. It was It's so
good. And it's, I think, the perfect time for us to just jump into the segments for this game.
Yeah. Narrative-wise.
So we get a big part of this episode is going to be comparing it to the Lego Lord of the Rings episode we did a couple of months back.
100%. Yeah, got the same.
In which the narrative was the narrative for Lord of the Rings.
Yes, entirely, right?
And I scored it accordingly, right? The narrative was very good. Over here, the narrative is that of Star Wars.
Yeah, this is my my pet peeve. I have to admit, I'm a bit of a Star Wars elitist, by all accounts.
Elitist.
And when they say this is the first Star Wars game, and it's the first Star Wars, go through the first Star Wars movies, I was so expecting it to be A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back.
Exactly, yeah, the originals.
Yeah, and I was like, Phantom Menace.
What? Episode 1?
Yeah, that was like, no. I get it, like, chronologically, yes. But no, the first one was...
That's not right. 14-year-old Dave is sitting there.
Yeah, really, it really was.
What the hell is this shit?
It really was, which is unfortunate. That's me being elitist. I get it. Yes, Phantom Menace is kind of one chronologically, but not in my heart. 4 was one. So that peeved me a bit.
I think the majority of Star Wars fans feel the way you do.
But only really the older ones, because the young ones don't even know, do they? They don't know that the 4th one came out first.
No, they don't.
So their clientele isn't really me, the Lego people. It's going to be the younger ones. Granted, how old was I in 2005? Oh, damn, I was younger. Sorry, am I bugging into it?
I do think, though, that there are a load of generations of Star Wars fans, right? The newest one grew up with the new trilogy.
Yeah, poor people.
And the shows on Star Wars on Cartoon Network.
That's not really that bad. The Clone Wars one on Cartoon Network was actually not too bad. I'll give him that. That was alright.
But this game, Lego Star Wars, the video game, is just the prequel trilogy. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Which are... They're fun, they're entertaining popcorn movies.
Yeah, I didn't hate them. I'm not one of those people that's so elitist, like the first ones are horrible. They've got weird moments. There's weird moments in it, but they're coupled with great moments. Like, even
like
to this
whenever
day,
Jar Jar Binks is on screen, right?
Oh, God, yeah. Everybody hates Jar Jar Binks. Yes, George made a mistake. Jar Jar is forever in everyone's mind. Poor George. But then, of course, with every Jar Jar Binks, there's the Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon fight with the epic soundtrack and all the others.
Yes.
There were good moments in the first one, so I'll give him that.
And John Williams reprised his role as the composer for these movies.
That man can't do anything wrong, in my opinion.
No, he also just can't let the music chill out.
No, exactly, never.
They'd be walking on the screen, and the music would just be flying all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, like I said, that's more audio section.
Oh, right, audio segment, right. We're supposed to be doing narrative.
Narrative-wise, it does follow all the stories. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. So if you watch the movies, it's fundamentally verbatim. They're of course not doing the whole movies because there's lots of talking. There's Senate talking. So they're taking the best bits from each movie and putting them into a number of levels per one. So you get the saving of Princess Amidala from the Naboo robot things.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. Was it? So you get the tense moments that can kind of propel the story nicely along in its own right. And they did this. Go on.
I've never fully understood the story for the prequel trilogy because I know it's a lot of politics.
Yeah, there is a lot of politics in that one. It's true.
It's just mostly politics, and that's not fun.
No, it's because they're trying to build the structure where the Rebel Alliance and the Imperials, kind of that structure starts to build up so that the later movies can have the good and the bad. No, there is lots of trade negotiations and blockades.
But that's boring. Yeah, Can't the wrinkly man zappy zap the good guys with his fingers?
He's not even wrinkly man yet. He's just man. He's not got the wrinkles. He's still pretty mean, but he is just man.
Yes.
But the storytelling is this. They do that lovely Lego twist where they make everything silly and goofy and fun.
I was going to say, you're completely right. That touches on all three segments, narrative, visual, and audio.
Very true. Very true. They made Obi-Wan in this kind of goofy.
Yes.
Which I like. All his scenes are always him trying to show off or be cool but failing and tripping and his lightsaber not working and all sorts of things, it is funny because then they always pan to Lego Qui-Gon and he just shakes his head and and makes it yeah, exactly,
grunts or whatever.
Why did I have to have you as my Padawan? No, and I liked the bit there was where they blow up the spaceship and the two pilots are sitting in the cockpit. And the spaceship blows up
and then they look at each other and then the ground.
They fall down and then they just turn into their pieces. That for some reason that made me giggle. I don't know why. That made me crack up. They died,
Dave. They died.
That's very true. Shame. Well,
they've got kids and wives. And all they've got are these pieces that can't even be cremated because the quality of Lego pieces are so high.
Oh, could you? Yeah, could you? Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, Lego funeral would cost a fortune. The pieces and putting it together, damn.
Do you think Lego would ever release a Lego funeral set?
I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest with you. There's Lego everything now. Things that I swear no one even asked for. Who wanted Lego flowers?
A lot of... there are people, right? There are couples. I'm not one of them, but there are couples that have built their romantic foundation on Legos, which is weird and can't be very comfortable.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they buy Lego flowers for each other, and you're right, it is weird.
There's nothing wrong with it. From my perspective, it's weird. I like Lego. I like I think I told you the other day, I like those Lego sets that look all grown up that you can display in your office.
Yes, with the black boxes.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't look... Yes, we're all kids at heart, but sometimes I just want something in the office that looks cool but also reminds me I'm also an adult. And those tick the boxes. I love those things.
You know who buys Lego flowers for each other?
Go on, who?
The Danish. The Danish.
The Danes, you crazy, crazy people, you. Yes, I'm sure they do. I'm sure their flower stools are all just Lego.
Yes.
Fundamentally, you can't actually get a real flower out there.
Right, it's their grocery food, it's just Lego.
I've never actually been to Denmark. What? Maybe that is the case. Maybe everything is Lego.
These are some excellent points for Star Wars narrative.
Yeah, that's true, aren't they? They're spot on. This is why you should play this game. But they've also got. I liked the hub world. It's based on Mos Eisley Cantina from Tatooine. You know the dangerous cantina in the fourth movie.
But
I thought that was very cool.
What was that in the game as well? Because I remember a certain diner.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Are we talking the movies now, or
no? In the games, the Lego Star Wars games.
The diner was the hub world that you'd activate.
No, there's a different diner. It almost looks like a 50s diner. It's called Dexter's Diner.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that's the one. That's the one that's kind of Mos Eisley-esque. Yes, Dexter, the place where you buy things.
Okay. Is that the place where you buy things? Because that's what I remember.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
It's got the relatively iconic music type playing in the background by the...
Gotcha.
God, I used to remember the name of the band. Figran Dan and... I don't know, something. I can't remember. Jay, my brother would remember. He remembers all this weird stuff. He's very much into Star Wars. No, that was very cool. Very cool hub world I enjoyed as well. But narratively, they are basically following the movie, so... It's one of those ones where you can praise it, but the source material has always been released on screen, so the only real thing narratively you can praise is the little flares they put in between, which are kind of hilarious at times. They really are. They're narratively packed.
It's endearing. I like it.
They make you smile, and it makes you, even as an adult, remember that you've still got a kid side that still makes you laugh. So like farts are funny, and falling over is hilarious. Those little kiddie parts of all of us that we don't use much anymore because we're all adult and grown up. So it's always have that to be reminded that you can still enjoy kiddie stuff.
Exactly. I never fail to laugh at whenever a Lego character dies. No matter how dramatic they make it, he always just explodes in pieces.
That is funny. Even yourself, when you're doing jumps and stuff like that, and you randomly get shot. No, it is. It's good. Funny. It is something. There was one hilarious bit where I was fighting around. You've got like a C-3PO robot, and I was fighting, and I was learning the buttons, jumping and reflecting. It was all good, and I was like, "Yeah, I won." And then I looked at my robot, and I was like, "Damn, I didn't notice that." I'd cut one of his legs and arms off. So now he was just...
and arms?
He's got one leg, one arm. So he was hopping around, following me with the little sparks coming off him. And I was like, damn, my bad. I'm sorry. I went a bit too lightsaber.
That's cool, though. That's really cool. Because that's just one character out of, I think, 100 you can play in this game.
It was pretty up there. I don't know the exact number, but yeah, it is pretty up there.
The last point for me for narrative for this is, with this being Star Wars, I made sure that I scored this 1 point lower than the narrative for Lego Lord of the Rings.
Why would you do that, Nick? Why?
Because the narrative for Lord of the Rings is better than the narrative for Star Wars.
Ooh, are we talking Star Wars in its total mass? Or are we talking Star Wars as in Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, and Attack of the Clones?
What I'm talking about is I'm so biased to Lord of the Rings that I did not score this higher than I did that.
You just couldn't. See, you wanted to, but you couldn't. See, that's what I'm reading from that. You were there, you wanted to give it 10s across the board, but then you thought, no. Peter Jackson would be ashamed of me, so will Tolkien, so then... That's disgraceful,
Eat
Nick.
my shorts,
that's
George Lucas.
Oh. But yeah, I get it.
You do the same.
Yeah. That said, I have a love for Lord of the Rings 2, so it's a lot tougher for me. Oh, Lord of the Rings is fantastic. And I don't mean Lord of the Rings 2, like the second Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. I love the movies. They are excellent. I love the books. The Hobbit movie isn't great, but I love it all.
No, it's not.
It's one of those horrible things to say that I love one more than the other. It's like having kids and knowing which one you love more. And it is Star Wars because I grew up with it. That's just the different thing.
I completely understand.
When I was a child,
I just grew up with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. You did.
It's the same.
The era where I grew up with Lord of the Rings, exactly. You're wrong, but I do understand your frame of mind. Okay, and visually...
Let's move on to visuals. We can have an entire episode of this.
No, exactly. Going back and forth. Visually, again, it's one of those hard things. You've got to remember this released on PlayStation 2 and that generation of... I'm trying to think what came out with the PlayStation 2. What was it? Was it the Xbox?
Yeah. The original Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation 2, and on PC.
Yes, of course, and on PC. So the graphics are PlayStation 2 era graphics, and the fun thing about it being a Lego game is that you don't lose that charm because everything is blocks.
No, you don't. You're right.
It fits the aesthetic perfectly. You don't need super rendered this and shadow effects and lighting and stuff. It's that would even take away from what it is. So
although you're right, you're completely right with this game being stylized in the Lego fashion. Mm-hmm. It's still understood today. You can still see the appeal today, but the graphical fidelity of this game really has aged poorly.
Yeah, it does. You can't say yes or no to it. It is two basic colors and stuff like that. It has aged. It
is just blocks, and with all the geometry being Legos, there are certain things that you can try and do, which I don't think they did try to do.
But that's the thing. I remember this was their first game, though. So this is where they were more stressed out if this would sell instead of like putting all their money. I was thinking, as you just said, like I was looking at as you play through the game, you unlock these kits where they slowly build up like vehicles later
Mini
on
kits.
to unlock. Yeah, and I was looking at that, and then I realized that everything in this game, I'm not gonna say everything in this game is made out of Lego. No.
What are you doing? Yes, everything in this game is made out of Lego.
No, I say that jokingly, but actual Lego. None of it's all the pieces aren't made up. I was looking at them as they build the ship, and can you imagine how painstakingly hard it is when you get given, okay, this is the ship they arrive on. Now you've got to Legofy it. They can't just make Lego pieces that shape. So they gotta select 2s and 3s and 6s, you know, the dots. They gotta find what type of laser mounts there would be. It's all actually made out of pieces of Lego. They haven't made up their own pieces, as in like a 12 circle and stuff like that. I
get what you're saying. I do think it would be more painstaking to recreate all that assets from scratch in not looking like Lego. If I need to choose between making a Lego laser and making a regular laser on Blender or whatever, I think I would go for the Lego one because that would be easier to make.
But it's just fascinating that they had to stick to the guidelines that Lego has.
Yes.
They couldn't. If Lego's only got a 12 long Lego long piece, they're not allowed to make a 14 or a 16. They had to take a 12 and add a 4 to the end, if you know what I mean. They actually had to make everything out of the actual pieces of Lego. Because if you looked when they build the kits, because you unlock the little pieces, you actually see they're actual pieces of restricted Lego instead of them making up a piece so that it would fit there perfectly. Which I thought that would take ages. That was really clever.
But they do get the inherent fun aspect of Lego, which is the building part.
Yes, 100%.
You get to build everywhere in this game.
Yeah,
that's gameplay.
That's very true. And no, it's visually pleasing as well. Just watching him use the Force as he builds things around him. It is very cool. It's dated though, like you said. It's got a dated mechanic to it that, like I said, I've written on a bit later. That doesn't work in its favour.
Not entirely, but we'll get there, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
I just have two more things. This game puts a heavy emphasis on visual storytelling, which we touched on in narrative, and I'm sure we'll touch on it again in audio. But visual storytelling is some of my favorite.
Yeah, go on.
Without the use of words, you need to convey the story of what's going on the screen.
No,
they do the same in the Dark Souls games, and Bloodborne and so forth. It is just the coolest. Whenever you can pull it off, like I do think sometimes this game does, I enjoy it a ton.
No, I get what you mean. It's hard to do storytelling without, a narrative or people telling you the situation and stuff like that. You have to find key moments and have in that moment all the storytelling on facial expressions and body movements and atmosphere and lighting and all. No, it is. And like you said, they do it in this quite well and add that lovely comedy factor to almost every scene. Which, like you said, is visually a nice thing to see. It's pleasing to the eye. Which you're right.
It really
it's
is.
One thing I missed on. Like they do the silent, almost like the silent movie aspect to the game.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's very cool.
The slapstick. There's a ton of that as well. And I think in this game, this is the first, not only is it the first Lego game, but they even nailed the UI. It might not be the best, but they still use the same UI. I think to the newest game. What was the newest Lego game? Skywalker Saga.
Yeah, I'd say so. I can't think of one newer
even now, that game released last year or 2 years ago. Even now, we're still using the same UI that this game started.
Yeah, no, they are identical, like you said. I can picture it. I haven't played the Skywalker Saga yet, but it's the same one in
Lord of the Rings.
Thank you. Couldn't get the words.
It's all of
exactly
them.
The same.
The blue circle in the corner with your face.
That's right.
You switch between characters. But every little yellow circle, markers on the ground, it's the same.
Which is perfect because we haven't really stepped upon it yet, maybe later in gameplay, because this is also designed for kids.
Yes,
so that's so that kids can instantly, if they played the others, instantly go, oh yeah, that's there, let's dive right in, because
and they do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why these games have been doing so well. Clearly, parents are buying these for their
100%.
kids.
Yeah, 100%.
Just not so they can play it with them, but because it's a franchise that the parents know. We also talked about this in the Lego Lord of the Rings episode.
We really did.
This is a way for you to share your love of a franchise or story to your child in a way that they can comfortably digest it.
Yeah, and it's perfect because you can start at, I don't know, 5. I don't know what would be, I'm not too au fait with, like a 5-year-old could pick up this game and enjoy it, right? They could follow, button mash, jump
5,
around.
6, you can join them even, but exactly. I think those are fine ages.
And to be able to, because as a parent, you have to be so patient when you want to share Harry Potter, Star Wars, with your child, and you've got to wait until that age where they can fully comprehend and enjoy it.
Yes.
You know, you can kit out their room with all the Star Wars stuff you like, but all they think is that's a cuddly thing, and that's a round thing, and that's stars.
That's a robot.
Yeah, exactly. Until you want that day when they say that's not a robot, that's R2-D2, and you just go, yes, it's happening, right? It's like,
although I heard this story of a kid getting excited about, I think they were going to Disneyland or Disney World, and they were still small. They haven't seen the Star Wars movies yet.
Yeah.
They saw a spaceship, and the kid was going, "Oh yeah, a spaceship! It's so cool!" And the dad just shutting him down, saying, "No, that's a spaceship from the Empire. We're not supposed to like those."
Wow, that's
what a shitty parent.
That's a strict upbringing. Damn, like
what a shitty parent.
A shame. That's sad. Because I've not been to Disney World or Land or what it's called now. I want to go there, and I'd still be that kid going, "Wow, a spaceship!" Be it the Rebel
and if
Alliance
my kids go, "Oh, I like the guy with the black helmet."
Yes, of course.
I tell them, "Hell yeah,
he's badass." You know,
very cool.
No, that is sad. I've not seen that video, but that is sad because the wonder and the magicalness of life should be enjoyed. Doesn't matter if it's Imperial or Rebels.
Exactly. This is a made up story.
Exactly.
It's a good one. Down. Sorry. Okay, we're getting off track. Off track.
So we jump into audio.
Let's do audio. This one, I think, for these Lego games, I keep saying I think, for the Lego games, in a lot of places, the lack of voice acting adds to the game, which is It's a very weird thing to state, but I do think so. The lack of voice acting adds to the game.
See, this is where you and I disagree. Now,
really?
Now, partly because I'm a bit embittered that yours had voice acting and mine doesn't.
Oh, you talk about Lord of the Rings.
I was playing Lord of the Rings Lego, and it was fully voice acted.
Yes.
Well, it was cut scenes from the movies, I'll give you. But, you know, I could hear Gimli, I could hear Aragorn, I could hear Gandalf. And we start up the game, and nobody said, "I have a bad feeling about this." And I was like, wait a minute. Why aren't they talking? Now, I get it.
They're grunting.
They do, and there's lots of, which, when they're funny, when they ever do those moments, the exasperated sighs. But I was like, how do I
know that this is when the fun begins?
Yeah, I want voice acting in my one. You got it, but I want it in my one too. But granted,
well, you know what, you've got what, 6 Lego Star Wars games?
Yeah, that's very true. But I don't know. I felt you're right in regards to storytelling. It doesn't really lose anything, them not having the voiceovers and stuff. It's a bit weird for me to think that they had all the licenses for the sound effects and the music, but they couldn't. But granted, like I said before, maybe I'm falling upon my own point. It was their first game, and I guess they wanted to do as much as they could and get it released in time, and so they had to cut things where they could. And I guess maybe the voice acting or putting the movie's voice acting over the game would have taken too much time or something like that.
Do you think it was that because they didn't add voice acting to their games? What? 7 years. Lego Lord of the Rings was the first one to add voice acting.
Oh, is it really?
And that was 2012.
Well, that's interesting.
7 years after the first one, this one.
It's intriguing. I don't know then, because by then they were established. I can imagine
exactly, but that's what's making me think. Was the lack of voice acting a legal limitation?
Oh, who knows? It's possible. It is very possible, especially in Hollywood and all the other weird laws and paperwork there. You could be very true. Because I can imagine the first game, they've made this game, but the nervousness is when you release. Because you put all the love into something and then you release it and then it bombs. That can happen.
Yes.
You release it at the wrong time.
100%.
It doesn't hit. So I can imagine the first time when you release it and you're just crossing your fingers and just waiting to see what happens. And then they got the thumbs up. It got... Overall reviews were very good. Like I think it's on aggregate like 7.5 to 8 out of 10 on most platforms and services. And then sigh of relief, and then they start going, how super excited you're going to be with doing all the other IPs. So that's when they. But I didn't know it was that much of a gap. 7 years is a long time. So that does seem to suggest, like you said, they deemed it unnecessary because everybody loved the silent movie type storytelling. Or, like you said, there was some sort of paperwork, red tape somewhere, which denoted they weren't allowed to use it, and that changed in the last few years. Oh, it's interesting. An interesting point. I don't know.
Maybe for the first one, there was a lot of red tape.
Yeah, of course.
And so they had to rely on the visual storytelling. Yeah. And maybe that resonated with the audience because the kids liked it so much.
Yeah.
Only up until they got to the Lord of the Rings game, they needed the voice acting.
No, yeah, it's an interesting point. Like I say, my mind's just dwelling on it now. I'm trying to think if there's, like, narratively and voice acting wise, if there's anything too adult for like a 5-year-old to hear. So maybe that's why they keep it out. Because their demographic, to some degree, is mainly kids with these games, but with an adult like kicker on the side. So I'm just wondering if the storytelling in Phantom Menace, it's about death and dark sides, but light sides. I wonder if that's too heavy. For audio to be played to a young boy or young girl. Maybe I don't know. I'm thinking of other reasons why maybe they didn't put it in now, because maybe the story of Star Wars, Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars.
I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe it's too much to actually have the audio in it. Maybe that would be too adult. Which,
could be.
It's an interesting, we're going.
It really is. It's a big topic.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm very glad that they added in this game was Williams' score, John Williams' score.
Yeah, it's the
best. You can't have a Star Wars thingy without Williams' score.
And it's got to be one of the most iconic scores in the world.
I think so.
Even people who don't know Star Wars or dislike Star Wars, you hear the opening sequence, all of it is so iconic. I gotta say, I can spend hours gushing over John Williams now, which the point is, it's amazing. Everyone should think it's amazing, and that's about it.
It just goes to show you this. 2 weeks ago, we reviewed Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, and it's insane how broad the Star Wars IP can go.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, it's almost limitless. Yeah.
We can just almost limitless.
So it's a lot more limitless. It's limitless more than another IP I know. Set in it's only set on like an Earth in the middle of it or something. Oh, it's so restricting.
Called, King of the Bracelets or something.
Yeah, they're just a jewelry courier. And he goes from one place and drops it off, gets a bad Yelp review, and chucks it in some fire.
You're not wrong.
Yes, and it's so restricted on the storytelling. What else can you do? Whereas Star Wars, like you said, it's got planets, it's got fights, it's got stars, it's got wars. See?
It's got an old wrinkly man going zappy zap with his fingers.
You're right. I believe you're correct in your point that Star Wars is better. That's a good point, Nick. Well done.
Well, okay. Gameplay then. The gameplay, it's so well done. It's like Far Cry 3. The gameplay was so well done in this game. It was used as a blueprint for all subsequent Lego games.
Yeah, we also touched on that in Lord of the Rings Lego as well, because you're absolutely right. This whole collectathon play, have fun mechanic. And like I said, it's used in all of them. They just don't stop. They tweak it a little bit, but it's all fundamentally
I don't even think they tweak it. It's the exact same.
Yeah, for
and
like
it has been for almost
or something. Yeah.
20 years. Yeah.
But
almost 20 years this has been the exact same. And it still sells more every time.
No, and it is fun. Even the little things like you know, at one point as an adult, you see all the little bits, the Lego bits, and you collect
the studs.
And you get, okay, they're everywhere, so you don't really go all the way. But then all of a sudden you've collected like 30,000, and then it says you're now true Jedi.
A true Jedi.
I'm like, yeah, I am. Even as a grown-ass man, I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yes,
and so now
I am a true Jedi.
I want to collect all the studs, because I want them to tell me that every single level. Because yes, I am.
I want that affirmation.
Yeah, exactly. And it is. It's fun. They got that lovely bit where, and I think this is in all the games again, where there are parts of the level you can't access until you have a character later on free play, which you can go back to collect even more blocks and stuff like that.
That's all this is. It's just blocks.
Yeah.
But it's so cool.
Yeah, and then you get to unlock the ships in those kits, like you said earlier. I still got. There's so much collecting and so much unlocking of characters, and there's so much more reason to do the free plays with different characters. No, it's a lot, and even the light puzzles are somewhat fun.
Yeah,
there's actually some investment into those to make them. No, it's like you said, the formula's great. They obviously knocked it out the park on this one with the formula, and they just thought, why change it? It is just perfection to some degree.
Exactly,
in what we're making.
They haven't changed it, and they've just made more money and more money each time they release a new game.
No, exactly right.
They really do have a winning formula, because these games are so fun. F-U-N. It's a lot of fun.
And it's an aspect you pointed on again, the co-op, albeit with a friend or even with your kids, if that would be the perfect scenario. Is also fundamentally flawless. It's so simplistic. You both play, like in the beginning, you'd play Obi-Wan, somebody else would play Qui-Gon, and you just jump around and you're slashing and bouncing and you're pushing things. It's manic, it's fun, it's juvenile to some degree, but it really like is. I said, the idea you could share that part with your kids, and we pointed that out on Lord of the Rings Lego as well, or Lego and Lord of the Rings. That's priceless right there to some degree.
It really is. It really is priceless, but I'm just... Wouldn't it... You said playing this with your friends, when you have a friend equally interested in Star Wars, isn't it just the coolest that you and him can be Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn?
Yes, right. That nerd endorphin hits as well.
Yeah,
Star Wars,
exactly.
That's true. It
running
hits
around on Naboo.
Yeah, exactly right. No, you're perfectly correct. It's and the same with you and Lego Lord of the Rings, when you get to play Gimli or Aragorn or any of the other 300 characters so you get to unlock. There is, and it's there is that cosplay aspect to being able to play the characters that you loved, even if it is cheesy Lego versions of them. Being able to have the iconic green lightsaber of Qui-Gon or the blue lightsaber of Obi-Wan. No, it just like you said, there was charm even in the gameplay of this. The Force pushing a droid into somebody else, another droid, and they do that fantastic popping of the Lego pieces everywhere as the dying sequence, so to speak. Oh, it's just so much fun. And the building...
It really is. It's endearing and it's fun and it doesn't get old.
And you find these moments where you can see they glow and you can use the Force on them. And at moments, you don't even know what's going to happen. There's an aspect, you run over to it and you do it and you go, oh, that opens, or oh, he's lifting that and moving it over there.
I can use the Force, because I'm Qui-Gon Jinn.
There's so much cool little bits where you're like, whoa, yeah.
Very much. No, it's great, and it just gets better with the Lord of the Rings games. I haven't played the Hobbit games, but all up subsequent Star Wars games, there are a ton. There's Incredibles Lego game. There's a Pirates of the Caribbean Lego game.
That's right.
All Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Marvel. Oh man, I forgot about the Marvel ones. There's Marvel ones, DC ones.
There's like a million Lego games,
and they're all good and fun.
Yeah, they are. They are a lot. They are a lot of fun. There's no doubt. They found. We said it before. They found the formula. They keep just changing the IP, adding some comedy, but gameplay and collectathon kept the same throughout the whole thing. And it's fun. It's fun. There's nothing wrong with it. I have no. It's not one of those games where you play the first and then you play the sequel and you go, oh well, they could have built upon that mechanic, or they could have made guns customizable thing. This game, you really wouldn't want them to mess around with the mechanic too much because it's too comfortable.
Exactly. But that's what I've got for gameplay.
Same. And then
there's not a lot I've got for performance. I just had a few frame stutters every now and then.
No, I didn't have anything on my side.
Really?
Like I said, the only thing... what did you play on, by the way? The PC or...
Yeah, my computer.
Yeah. I just thought it's again, very fussy. The keyboard layout, the default keyboard layout, because I used the keyboard, was nutty.
No.
But then that's just me being fussy. I don't mind WSAD as your controllers, but the U, J, K, and H or something just seems really weird. But that's me being very fussy. That's just the...
this is the podcast. This is what this podcast is. We're fussy about games.
Yeah, the default control layout was really peculiar. I get it was your hands next to each other.
Yeah.
But no, for me, I'm very old school. If I'm one left hand to the left-hand side of the keyboard, my other hand has to be to the right-hand side. There's got to be a good amount of space in between.
Yeah. This is clearly made for controllers.
Yeah,
so I played on my Logitech controller.
Yeah.
And it played wonderfully.
Yeah, it'd be a ton easier. There's no doubt this was designed for controllers. And the PC one's just a port of a console version.
Yep.
So they don't put the most effort into the control scheme. But
just play it on a controller or on a console.
Exactly right. That's where you'd get the purest form of playing the game. But that's it for performance. Everything else actually ran pretty fine for me. It worked well.
Value for money. This one can be quite chunky.
Yeah, this is one of the ones which was hard to score again. Because...
Why?
Well, value for money. Because we're doing Star Wars the video game.
Yes.
The only way... You can't... I don't know. I guess you could... excuse me. I guess you could buy it as the single video game. I couldn't find it as the single video game anymore. Could you?
No, me neither.
You could only find it as the saga, right? The complete saga. Which is fine. Which I believe it's got other games. I don't know how it finishes the complete saga. 1, 2, and 3, and then of course 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Because up until that point, that's all there was.
Yes, of course. And then, so I was looking around. There's of course value for money in regards to replayability is pretty massive, right? Would you say?
Of course.
Because of all the collectathon going back, getting all the studs.
You collect all the things, and then you can do the entire thing again with all the characters you've unlocked. That's
correct.
New puzzles, new areas.
Exactly right. And to be honest with you, even nowadays, there's weird... This is one thing I've never understood about Steam and stuff like that. You can buy this game, the saga, right?
Okay.
Off the bat, secondhand, like about $5-6, even new, roughly that amount. But on Steam, $20.
What?
Yeah. And
jeez.
It was really peculiar because they have, as we pointed out earlier, they've got the Star Wars Skywalker saga, right? Or Lego Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Which does all of them. All of them from Phantom Menace to... when they say all of them, I'm guessing that... Are they talking about the newer ones too? I actually didn't look that up.
No. For the complete saga?
The Skywalker saga.
Oh, Yes, I think Skywalker saga has all 9 main films.
Which... I just could not get over the fact that you should probably just get that one. I know it's a weird point to make and we're not reviewing that one.
You're right. Just get that one. Get that one.
Yeah, paying $20 for this one. And then there's one out there that I'm guessing the Skywalker saga was also remastered in some way as well, right?
Yeah.
Like polished and all the other things they do with
yes.
games. I couldn't get over that. This game is cool and awesome and stuff like that, but you should get the Skywalker saga because...
You should. But, I mean, if it's 2005 and you're holding this game at a GameStop in your hand, and you buy this, then yes, that is good value for money. If it's 2005,
I agree. If it's 2005, I agree. Yes, I agree entirely. The going back to the gameplay, the loop, I agree entirely. This is worth buying. But
because the narrative in this game, it contained 3 full movies.
Very true.
That's a lot of movie.
It is. The game's not the longest though, sadly. If you play from beginning to end, depending on how hard you want to collect all the studs and stuff like that, of course, it can actually add quite a few hours to it. This game isn't the longest. It's actually relatively short. It's one of the pitfalls some of the reviewers, the mainstream reviewers, they loved.
It was short.
It was delightful to play, but it came to an end too soon. But then remember, it is PlayStation 2. It was an era of games which didn't have
longevity. On GameCube as well. Exactly. I can totally see this game needing to be a bit shorter.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you like the gameplay loop, the collectathon,
it's got
platforming.
Hours. Yeah, that's right.
It's got a ton of that.
It's got tons of it.
With everything you've unlocked, go play it again in free play or get all the gold blocks. That can't be quick.
It's kind of like the original achievement hunting, right? Because it's PlayStation 2, we never had trophies or Xbox achievements or whatever.
Achievements, that's right.
So this was their own version of it. Unlock all the characters, unlock all the vehicles, unlock all the skins and the other fun things you could
get all the gold blocks.
Yeah, and cheat codes you could unlock by doing this. This. No, there is a ton in there. There is.
It's fun. It's fun.
It is. No. I'm not ever going to deny. These are lots of fun. And like I said, if you have if you add sharing it with your kids factor, it's hours upon hours. Even
sorry, yeah.
Even if you've played it and completed it again and again, but then your son or daughter, let's play Star Wars again. You're definitely sitting down and playing Star Wars again. There's no doubt about it.
Because that's another point for value for money. It's co-op features.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's so charming. It's so nice. There are aspects to this review it's hard for me to do because I don't have kids. Because this would score so much higher. It's one of those perspective things that just the sharing it with your little ones or your loved ones.
Yeah.
It just amps it so much more to such a degree. It makes all of it fun. It makes all of it value for money in that regard goes through the roof because of all the other things, the memories you make, the keeping your kids happy aspect. It is. It's. Yeah. But I just couldn't get by the Skywalker saga instead. I just couldn't because it's got all of it, and this game is, like I said, graphically a bit dated and stuff like that. But it is still a very good game. It's a hard one.
It's very nice.
It is hard. It is a very good game.
Nice. Lego Star Wars the video game. Thank you for gracing the Critical Arcade podcast. I remember seeing this game when I was very young. And seeing my friends play it, but because we couldn't afford a console or a computer, I just always heard of this game.
Yeah, I think I probably had too.
So it's nice that I could tie that loose end.
Yeah, that's true. I know what you mean. To finally be able to play it and be like, yes, one of my childhood targets achieved. That is cool.
Yeah. So thanks, and thanks listeners for joining us. In listening to this game. If you played along this week, which I think eventually some people might be playing along with for these
weeks. It's hoping, yeah, by all accounts.
Thank you. Let's get to the scores.
So what did we score it?
Yeah, we took our scores for Lego Star Wars the video game. How are we going to spin this? We let it go to a very boring seminars on, what did you say? Trade
routes. That's right, they were trade route discussions.
Trade routes, yeah, and it got zapped by an old wrinkly man and his fingers. But after a while, who's that? It's Qui-Gon Jinn. He comes around and he uses his force to build it like Lego bricks. After Qui-Gon Jinn, right? This
is Tolkien level storytelling, by the way. But keep going.
Yeah, tell me about it. So after Qui-Gon Jinn puts it back together, he gave Lego Star Wars the video game, the first Lego game, the letter grade rating of C.
Yeah. Which is
a respectable letter grade.
It is a PlayStation 2 game. It is now 2023, so it is respectable. Like any PlayStation 2 game that's getting like a C and above is somewhat amazing, really, because especially like with everything we got, we're spoiled and stuff. So that is a genuinely decent score, but we have to grade it as such because of all the things that we now have. You know what I mean?
I think a game that we give a rating for C is a nice game. That is a nice time. Jedi Academy, a really good game. We gave a C-.
Yeah, exactly true. Yeah, see? So no, that's a good point. This game is probably better than that. If you add up all the categories, I agree. There is more to this game than... Makes me it's painful to say it. Because I do love Jedi Academy. It's got my childhood aspects to it. But this game is good. Same. Yeah, this game probably is better.
It's... So we give it a letter grade rating of C. I'm very happy. I think it only goes to show how the fundamental elements of these Lego games have been good from the start.
Yes, 100%. They know what like we said before, they know what they're doing. Like I said, I have no qualms with picking up or playing or any other Lego game. Out there, all those Lego games are going to be fun. I bet you there's probably not a bad one. I'd be intrigued if there is like a proper stinker out there for some reason they changed it up or something. Yeah. Because they've all got to have the same loop and it's all so much fun. So they all must be all decent games. At least I presume that. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. If you'd be so kind to leave us a rating and a review, that would help us a ton on the platforms. You can follow us on our social media channels, Facebook and Instagram. You could also catch us on email at nick@criticalarcade.com.
And I'm Dave at criticalarcade.com.
Besides, for your email, Dave, where else can we get you?
Well, I am out and about, but as I do, and if you do find me, and then this perpetual hell came to me when we were doing Legos with your son the other day, I'm going to make you have to... Do you remember, you've done Lego, right? You must have done. You know the two studded piece? And then if you took
those tiny two-studded...
studded piece, and then you'd stick a two-studded piece on another two-studded piece.
Oh,
really
no.
Thin and flush.
Oh, no.
And
what
they were together,
hell?
Right?
No, so I'm not going to...
I'm going to give you, say, 10,000 of those that you've got to peel apart, and you can only eat when that's done. So you got to somehow... Because your nails don't fit. If anyone's done Lego... and you've got those two pieces like super welded together, and you try and just pull them apart, and you try to get your nail in there. It's the most hellish scenario. I can't. I still to this day. It really is.
No, I don't think we need to explain. Every single person has experienced that.
So you've got to pull
everyone
apart,
who's
10,000 of those until you can eat again.
No, thank you.
That's what will happen if you follow me. So just if you like that, then by all means, I'm out and about.
Don't follow Dave. If you value your fingers, don't follow Dave.
Yeah, it's really giving me like goosebumps because I can picture trying to get it with your nail and then you slip.
I'm getting PTSD.
And you jam one of the edges into like the soft bit of your finger as you're doing it. No, like I say, I hate it. Lego,
Anyway, that's enough. Stop it. Please support us on Patreon for exclusive... No, stop it, Dave. Please support us on Patreon for exclusive content. Ugh. My fingers are sore now.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's catch Critical Cinema and bonus content. I can't concentrate now. Please, rather, Dave, tell us what's next week's episode.
Oh, next week we get to dive back into the indie games, which is always a fun one for us.
Yes.
The next game we're playing is Path of the Exile.
Path of Exile.
Oh, sorry. My English just like I have to say Path of Exile. I actually don't know it. Is that an adventure game, I'm guessing, or a story?
It's a top-down RPG like Diablo, but it's free!
Yay! So that's value for money is already up there, right?
Yeah, I love free games because they're free.
Okay, so it's a Diablo dungeon crawly
RPG
type
game.
Thing, RPG game.
Yes,
okay, cool.
yes.
Exciting. Thanks.
Very fun. Thanks again for listening to this week's episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.